Love, light, and blessings. This is Shamanic Arawak Priestess here. Okay. And I'm making this video because it's really, really important. I've been wanting to make this video, but then at the same time, I've been on the fence to make this video. It might be a little controversial, but if anybody's been watching me for a while, I've talked about many of controversial topics in the past. Basically, okay, a lot of people, not all people, when I first started reading professionally, not from at home, more so like on the psychic hotline, I would hear over and over again people saying things like, oh, I don't know why such and such charges so much money because all they do is get a deck of cards. And, anybody could be a reader. You get a deck of cards, blah, 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 blah. You hear things like other content creators, not all, either I don't believe in psychics or, anybody could be a psychic. Anybody could be a professional reader. There's people that are trying to gatekeep, yada, 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 do. Okay? But, and people could get mad at me, everybody's not a psychic. Everybody can't be a professional reader. And it's not just because of the skills that it takes to give accurate readings and all of that. It's not just because of that. There's so much more to being a professional reader, whether it's Lenormand, playing cards, Marcel, however you say it, Thoth deck, tarot, whatever form of divination, channeling, whatever you're doing. It's not just about knowing how to divine or fortune tell, predict. Like everybody always thinks about that stuff. Like, what books can I read? I want to have a spiritual based business. Like, how do I advertise? And those are all important things, right? But a lot of people forget like one of the fundamental things about being a professional reader, and that's the energy that you're exposing yourself to. When you are reading someone, okay, from a psychic perspective, I'm not talking about the way other people, the spiritual coaching, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking specifically psychic readings, channeling, mediumship, that type of stuff. When you're exchanging like energies with someone, okay, you're opening yourself up to that other person on the other side's energy. There's going to be people that come to you with the most effed up energy, okay? They may have chaotic lives. They may have people that are hexing and cursing them. They might be people that are possessed with spirits, or their home is haunted, or whatever. I've dealt with all of those things, okay? Or they just might be someone who dabbles in things, the negative aspect, or whatever the case may be. This person's just low vibe. All that energy is going to attach itself to you. So as a professional, as someone who's reading on a full-time basis, you have to know how to close up that space. You have to know how to cleanse that energy, okay? Because when you don't cleanse yourself properly, when you don't cleanse your space properly. I've done a video in the past about my whole process, and I've had people like, that's a lot. Yes, it's a lot. It needs to be a lot because I don't want your negative energy attaching itself to me or my loved ones, okay? Because when you're reading other people, you're also exposing your family, your loved ones, your children, your spouses, whoever lives with you, if you live with other people, your friends, whatever the case may be. You're exposing everybody to that person's energy. If you don't close those doors properly, that energy is going to stay stagnant. It's going to stay in you. It's going to attach to you, and then it's going to attach to everybody else around you. Okay, so if that person has demons around them, if that person has low vibrational energies, if that person is hex, curse, whatever, all that energy is going to go to you. So you have to know how to cut that energy out, cleanse it, all the things, okay? So you have to have some type of not just clearing and cleansing before you do the session. You should also clear and cleanse after you do the session, okay? That's number one. Also, you have to understand too that some people, okay, are psychic vampires. There are people that will be addicted to readings. They will message you all types of nights, very relentless, and that energy, like that very anxious energy as well, that obsessive energy can also attach itself to you. So as a professional reader, sometimes you might have to set boundaries with certain people like, hey, These are my work hours, that kind of thing. I've had people, it doesn't happen all the time because the majority of my clients, you guys are great. But I've had instances where I've actually cut people like, hey, I don't think I'm the right reader for you because their energy was just too chaotic for me, or they just would not understand boundaries. And it was kind of like going into my personal life. Okay, these are things people don't tell you. You see all the glitz and glamour on YouTube, but people don't talk about the darker aspects of being a professional reader outside of the funds and everything like that. Okay, so you'll have people that don't have boundaries. You'll have people that if you don't give them the kind of reading they want, some people just want to hear the positive stuff. And if you're not lying to them or telling them what they want to hear, they'll literally sit there and verbally abuse you. Like that happened to me when I was working in the professional psychic lines. Like most people were good, but I had those occasional people that would go into a reading session with me and they will belittle me, they will be mean, and I would literally get anxiety where I had to like end the reading like, I'm not the reader for you. So again, you can have people that are psychic vampires, you can have people that their energy is so intense, or they're dabbling in things, or they're victims of things. I've helped many people that have been victims of hexing and cursing. I have, and things like that. Like I'm better equipped now to handle that type of energy, but that's something that everybody can't handle. So you have to know like what you can handle or what you can't handle. You know what I'm saying? And you could have people that are very, like I said, very obsessive. They don't know boundaries. And for me, it's like, I cannot be a reader. Like it's too much. You have unrealistic expectations and you want me to lie to you, and I'm not going to do that. You also have people, because I do root work, right? I do rituals and things like that, aka what people will call spells. There are things I do and there's things I won't do, right? And so there's been times, I've had people come to me, so many people that, they got into readings and stuff, and they were like, if I would have known then what I know now, like I probably would have never gone professional, because, they did a reading with me and I'm like, hey, da da da, it's hexing you, and they're like, oh my goodness, that's my client, blah 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 blah. And it'll be a client that they're mad because you didn't want to perform a certain spell for them, and so they go and pay another practitioner to curse you. Okay, it's happened to people I know. It's happened to people I've read. It's happened to me when I first started doing readings. And that's why I started dabbling on the other aspect, the right and the left-handed, for self-protection. Because yes, someone who pays for a reading with you that wants you to do a certain type of spell work or wants you to give them a certain type of reading might get really upset with you because you're not reading them the way they want. You're not telling them that, the person they're reading on is this wonderful person. You're telling them the truth, like this person is not a good person, they're not coming back, or whatever the case may be. And they'll literally like hex you themselves or pay somebody to hex you. I've had people come to me where they befriended clients of theirs, and their clients literally like put something in their food, like hex them. Just because somebody pays for a reading with you doesn't mean they're even like stable. They could have very malicious, stalkerish tendencies too. Like there is a darker side to this, and so you have to be spiritually prepared, but also logical, and you have to have your precautions, because you can literally put yourself in danger in certain situations, in the physical and spiritual sense. So, these are things, like I said, that nobody talks about. You have all this trend of like, everybody could be a reader, everybody could do this, everybody could do that. But these same people are not telling you the dangers of things. These are the same people that I'll see like, oh, I'll watch them when they first start on their channel and everything's good. And then all of a sudden they're having all these mental breakdowns. They're taking all these breaks, they're doing all these things. And I can see the pattern. It's because they're telling everybody that you could just do whatever you want and read whoever you want. And they themselves are getting hexed by some of their clients or some people that come to them, to the point where sometimes some of these channels don't exist anymore because they literally don't even read anymore, I'll be watching on YouTube real time how their life is destroyed. Like when I wanted to move 2 years ago, I made the mistake of sharing it with the wrong people, thinking, oh, we're a spiritual family. And La Madama was like, you see what happened? So I told you to work in silence. And that's why I did that this time, and things panned out. Because again, everybody who watches you on YouTube, or everybody you read, or everybody who pays for a session with you does not mean that those people are going to have good intentions. They're paying for a service. Again, the majority of people that read with me are good people and they care and all that kind of stuff, and they don't do anything bad. But there is that small minority, and I don't care what practitioner you are, because you're not better than anybody else. This happens. I've seen it happen to countless people. I read professional readers. Okay, I read professional readers on YouTube, outside of YouTube, with bigger followings than myself, like all the things. I'm not gonna say who they are because that's not what I do. Like, you book a reading with me, I keep it private. But I'm just saying, like, I've read people in like different levels of experience, and over again, there's been times I'm like, yeah, such and such client this, or I'm like, da da da. They're like, yes, I knew that client had bad juju. I knew they had negative energy. This happens a lot. So when you are reading someone, you are opening yourself up to those things. Just like when you're doing exorcisms, when you're removing energies, when you're breaking curses, you are also exposing your family and your loved ones to, if the person who did the curse finds out you did the curse, like you broke their curse, they're going to do it to you and to the person. So you have to know how to cover your work. You have to have a very strong spiritual defense. That's what's kept me in this life for 17 years. And I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning, but like the longer I've been in it, the more stronger I get, the more stronger relationship I have with my spirits. So I'm telling you things that I've myself learned from experience, because when I started, I didn't do as much protection work and closing portals and all these things. And I had to learn through trial and error, in the beginning, the first year of me reading professionally, having mental breakdowns and realizing that was because I was opening myself up to all this chaotic energy, and I wasn't setting boundaries, and I was just reading any random person. And now I am so different. If I feel like someone's juju is just too much for me, I would rather be like, here's your money, and I don't think I'm the right reader for you. I've done it on occasions, and it is what it is, and things of that nature. You'll have people that, once you get them what they want, whether it's through spell work or readings, you might build a really close relationship to them, but now they don't need you anymore as a spiritual worker, and they move on, and you never hear from that person again. Most people say thank you, but there are those that don't, and they just kind of like, well, I got the results that I wanted. You helped me get what I wanted to get, and they move on, And so that's another part of it. You build attachments, and you have to learn how to let people go, because, your journey with that person has ended. You did their service. You helped them in the ways you're going to help them. And then you have the ones that are lifelong, that are always going to be with you. So being a reader is a very emotional thing. Like, for people that actually care, like, you also sometimes could have such like emotional readings that you take it with you. I'm reading on traumatic things. There's people crying in some of my readings because it can get really emotional. You know what I mean? And so, we're dealing with people. We're dealing with people's lives. And so kind of like being there for that person, but then learning how to like cleanse that energy, because sometimes it could be emotional for yourself. Like when someone cries, like I'm very empathetic. So like I feel their pain. Like there's been times I've had, family members come from the other side, and I'm crying too, and it's really emotional. And then I have to like cleanse myself, because I don't want to bring that like sad energy to my home or to my children. So, it's just very important to like protect your energy, protect your home, protect your space. A tarot reader should have some type of knowledge of candle work or some type of spiritual basis as well when you're reading for the public, because you need to be able to do spiritual baths, cleanse yourself, and have that protection. It's not just reading people, it's also the things you do behind the scenes. It's very important to have some type of relationship with a deity or spirit helpers, and some type of ritual that you do before and after you do a session. So depending on your spirituality, your path, your faith system, whatever your path that you're following will be how different your opening and closing ritual is. But you should have something. You should always do some type of protection and cleansing and clearing, and understand that, again, it's energy. So hopefully this video wasn't too rambling. Let me know what you think in the comment section. You know, it is what it is, but it's the truth. You know, a lot of people are going to tell you different. Anybody could do this, anybody could do that, but nobody ever talks about the aftershocks or the energy exchange or the repercussions of when you do healings on people, how sometimes spirits can attach themselves to you. Even when you're doing like mediumship, you might have a malicious spirit that disguises itself as something else that comes through, and now you have a whole attachment that you may not be able to take out yourself, and now you have to go to a professional like myself, and they have to take that attachment off of you. So again, it's more than just reading cards. When you are actually reading from an intuitive psychic perspective, you are opening yourselves up to energies. Okay, these things are spiritual tools. These things are a door, if you will, to the spirit realm. Okay, these are not just like they say on YouTube, oh, these are just pieces of cardboard. No, it's not. No, it's not. You're opening yourself up to things and energies when you are reading for the public. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to read with me on a one-on-one basis, shamanic@webpriestess.com, shamanic@webpriestess.com. Thank you again. Much love, much light, much blessings. To the next video. Bye.